AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
Excuse me! Taxi! What are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Yes, we do. And by the way, when Irish eyes are smiling, and who better to talk about the Irish and St. Paddy's Day and so much more than our friend John Samuelsen, who is the international president of the Transport Workers Union, representing 165,000.
Yeah, 165,000 members we're up to coast and in the Caribbean. Airline workers, transit workers, railroad workers. We're across every sector of transport.
Tell us about the parade today, because that was a biggie.
What a great parade today. We froze our asses off, but it was a great parade.
Now, let me ask you.
A fine, soft day.
Now, you represent the airline workers. The TSA, you don't represent them, do you?
I do not. I do not represent the TSA.
What the heck is going on there?
Well, I think there's a combination of weather and TSA issues related to government. Has led to just a wave of cancellations. My sons right now are stuck in Miami. They could be doing worse for themselves. They're in their early 20s. They went down there for the World Baseball Classic, and they can't get back. So, that's just hits close to home. But this is affecting hundreds of thousands of people every day.
You know, it's important when you talk about that, John, too. I think about what we were talking earlier, even with TSA, but with workers in general. When you're thinking of how important it is, the Transport Workers Union, the folks that you represent, these are such hardworking folks, but we rely on them so much. And it breaks my heart in the case of like the TSA, where they're sleeping in their cars. They can't do, think how important is it with so many of the folks that you represent, I think on the subways and elsewhere. I mean, they got to be sharp. They got to be alert, and they also deserve to be respected.
Sure. And one of the consequences of what's going on right now with the cancellations and the problems that have led to cancellations is assaults in the sky against our flight attendants, which was unheard of 10 years ago. And it's not unheard of anymore. Flight attendants are subjected to assault in the same way that bus operators on the streets of New York and Philly and San Francisco are assaulted when riders get frustrated about packed buses or the failure to have a bus on time. Those frustrations have now bled into the airline industry, no pun intended. And our flight attendants are suffering the consequences of decisions that they have nothing to do about.
Yeah, it breaks my heart.
Do they feel unsecure that because there's less people checking in, the people, that there might be somebody getting through?
I think that's always a concern. I don't think that's a rabid concern among our flight attendants. I think there's confidence in TSA officers to stop, any heinous act that's going to introduce itself through security onto our planes. But the fever pitch of frustration is manifesting itself in violence against flight attendants in the sky.
Yeah, I saw some.
I try to stay neutral between Democrats and Republicans sometimes, but I just don't understand the Democrats' thing on this. Holding up the Coast Guard and holding up the TSA. I mean, does it make any sense at all? I mean, I don't know anymore.
I stay in my lane, John. I organize workers and win contracts and, talk about the St. Patrick's Day Parade, but it takes two to tango.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Go ahead, Mike Sapercone.
I'm an old transit cop from back in the 80s, okay? And I never could understand why people would take things out on the bus drivers, on the conductors, okay? It never made any sense to me. These were people that were trying to help them and get them someplace. Why would they do the things they do? And it's, now I guess there was an issue about keeping a conductor on the train.
It's still a live issue.
It's still a live issue. Absurd to take the conductor off. Because if you just have the driver and you have no conductor and you don't have more police on those trains, it's a disaster. Without public safety in the city, we have no city, and how important those conductors are.
Yeah, the rash of violence against transit workers is it's not just New York. It's happening across urban America. And unfortunately for transit workers, they're the uniformed representatives of the bosses that make these decisions to cut service, to not put enough buses out on crosstown routes, for instance, in Manhattan. and particularly in the outer boroughs, that leads to the assaults. And just on the issue of the conductors, we just conducted polling. We had polling done. Roughly 90% of the citizens of New York City want the two-person train crew. They recognize the importance and the value of human beings working in the system to assist them, to assist in evacuations from deep within the tracks underneath Manhattan, for instance, or Brooklyn, or any of the outer boroughs. So it's just these kind of out-of-town, post-urbanist sort of college boys that have a problem with the conductor.
That's a great point. By the way, I took the subway on the way here, as John knows.
Did you ride the conductor car?
No, but I did wait to the conductor. I was happy. I was happy to see we made eye contact. And
there you go.
You feel assured.
You know what I said last time you were here, John? I think there should be three people. Maybe one police officer, one conductor, and one driver.
John, the polling reflected that. Our polling reflected that. The overwhelming majority of New Yorkers said they want at least two people on a train, if not more.
Well, just for health reasons alone, God forbid that somebody has a heart attack, being the conductor or the engineer. What happens then? How do you even contact somebody if you don't have that second person on the train? Right.
So the most important issue, among the most important issues, are the evacuations that take place between subway stops in the hole, deep in the hole.
Right.
Unlike every other city in the world, people get hit by trains in New York several times a week sometimes. Every time that happens between stations, it triggers an evacuation out of the subway. The two-person train crew are the evacuating team out of the subway. If somebody's in a wheelchair or there's a mother with baby carriage, or somebody's blind, for instance, or disabled in any way, they're absolutely, totally screwed. Their life is actually in peril. We're dealing with electrified third rails. We're dealing with adjacent train traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why it's so important. By the way, I'm so glad you're here. You got to come back again soon, John. It's really important stuff. Yeah. Something that we all care about deeply too.
And John Samuelsen, you know how we end this show?
Do you know? You got to follow us. You ready?
What do we believe in?
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Amen.
God bless America.
And also our transport workers too.
Yes. God bless them.
Thank you.